Hey YouTube, it's your boy Widgie here, coming at you with some more strategy games with a juicy little 1v1 replay analysis of myself against a Lakota player named Arvid number 7. So I hope you guys really enjoy this. I'm planning on doing more of these, and I'm going to also start to state my current ELO or ELO as I'm playing these games, so it gives you guys a hint of my sort of skill level, and also you can use that to sort of compare it to yourself. And you can also sort of potentially reminisce if you're quite a skilled player and you want to look back at, you know, sort of people around my sort of skill level or lower skill level, what sort of goes through their mind, what they do, what they could have done better, what they did really well for their ELO rank, and all that sort of good stuff. So I hope you guys really enjoy this. So we are playing as the British, and to be honest, I haven't really nailed down a proper civ that I really want to play a lot. I haven't really done that yet, and I'm not too sure when I'm going to do it. But I do know that the British are one of my favourite, and you've got the British, you've got the Inca that I like Japan as well. The Ottomans are good because I don't have to bother with the villager creation. I like that element as well. Yeah, I like probably about 4, 5, maybe 6 civs out of the 16 that I really like. I haven't even played them all either, so, but hey ho. Anyway, the Brits. Let's get into it. So normal sort of stuff really, just using the Explorer, getting any sort of treasures that will help me for the certain build that I'm doing. I saw that I actually had the 300 wood start there, so I had enough wood left over to put a market down. And that's what I suggest you do as well if you are British. If you do have extra wood at the start of the shipment, and if you've got the extra gold, try and get hunting dogs as soon as you can. That'll really help you age up quicker and just help your overall economy. So hunting dogs are a good pickup. So I'm just picking up the treasure there. I grab myself some extra food. That's going to help age up even quicker. So also guys, what I really want you to do, I implore you to do, is drop down in the comments below anything that you think that I could improve on, any advice as playing as the Brits, or any civ really, any sort of advice that you think would have or could help me in this matchup here would be really useful. And also potentially advice for the opponent as well, because you never know, the opponent, Arvid number 7 here, might actually stumble across this video, and it'll be really useful for you guys to provide some commentary and some advice to him. So I advise you to do that. Anyway, getting into the second age here at 2 minutes 35. I'm not too sure if that's a sort of a standard age up. I do cancel it. Now the reason I cancel it is because I initially went for the 500 food, but I actually switched here. And this is something to note, and I'm going to be pausing it every now and then, but that's just how I do these analyses. So what I tend to do is I tend to first understand whether or not the civ that I'm playing against is most likely to rush. Now, you know, common sort of civs that rush are the Haudenosaunee, also known as the I can't remember what they used to be called. The Iroquois, that's it. Haudenosaunee. You've got Russia, you've got Lakota, which I'm playing against in this game. So the more you play the game and the more you understand it and the more experience you have, you start to learn what civs are most likely going to start to rush. Also, another thing you can do is also check their deck as well. And the way to check someone's deck is to go to the top right here and simply just click on that. But you can't do it on the replay, I don't think. It's kind of crappy. But yeah, that's what you need to do. Anyway, back into it. So I decided to actually go for the outpost and the gold politician. And that politician is called the governor. And you get an outpost and you get 200 gold. Now the reason that I wanted to go for this is because I had an idea to go muskets. So musketeers. And I wanted that outpost just so I could hunt a little bit easier. I could use that outpost as sort of like a good defense against any sort of raids potentially by the Lakota player. So you can see that I just used that villager there to just lure those ox, that's it, the ox, just a little bit close to the town centre. So when I do need that food, it's a little bit closer there and I've got a bit more of a defence. So pretty much just transferred all villagers onto wood. This is sort of pretty much standard British really. I'm just building a couple of houses to get more villagers, because that's the unique thing about the civ, is the fact that you have access to longbows, which are unique. You also have access to some really good musketeer upgrades, and you also have access to a free villager every time you build a house. So essentially you could look at it in the way that a house will give you 100 food, because a villager is 100 food and more, because You know, the quicker you get villagers out at the start of the game, the more they pay off as an investment. So you've got to sort of look at it that way as well. So it's a pretty good thing that the Brits have. They can really boom well. If you can defend well, that is. You can boom well and you can do well. So you can see here I'm herding this group of deer over here as well. I just really want to make sure that it's close to the TC, as close as I can get it. I'm just sort of moving her around really because I felt kind of bad because she was just idling. But I didn't really want her to start hunting, but I just thought, screw it. There we go. Second age. So there's the outpost wagon. And I think this is a pretty good placement. Pretty good placement here. I could have potentially put it here, just close to the house, so it sort of covers the villagers here near the wood. But putting it out in the open here, I think that was okay, to be honest. So moving a couple now over to food, because you don't want to keep all your villagers on wood for too long. Really just the transition is you just want all those villagers on the wood. And I decided to move a handful of them over to food. And the reason I'm not really getting them on gold just now is because I had that 200 gold shipment. So I've got 300 gold stacked there. There's no real need for me to have any on gold just now. I was thinking about potentially going C on this game because there is that option. But I decided against it because I had a feeling that I was probably going to be rushed. Lakota are very well known for rushing because they usually rush just with pure cav, and it's usually axe riders, which are your sort of melee hand cavalry unit that are pretty good at raiding. So yeah, I wasn't planning on doing anything like that. Anyway, this is kind of a weird one for me. I'm not too sure why I did this. I went to get some pikemen out. So I don't know whether this was a good thing or not, whether I should have just got musks because I have plenty of gold here available and I'm also getting food. So I don't know whether or not going for the pikes was the best thing. I did have a wood shipment, so it might have been okay. Just to open up with a few pikes in the base, just to cover myself for any raids. But we are around 5 minutes, so I am expecting something from the opponent. I actually haven't scouted the opponent. And let me just come off the view lock. Yeah, I don't actually notice anything yet. I should have started scouting a bit here. I would always suggest scouting, like, when you're transitioning, definitely start to, when you're getting up into the second age, definitely start to scout. Or definitely when you hit age 2, you should be scouting, just to see if there's any buildings, any forward bases, that sort of stuff. But I didn't really do that, so something that I need to improve on is definitely that scouting. So here you go. You've got the hero swooping in there. Now sometimes they like to use the Lakota Explorer, like sometimes harass villagers. Don't get too stressed out about that. If they do, they're just trying to bug you and just trying to rattle you a little bit. Just try and take no notice. That outpost actually was doing some significant damage to him. He gets down to like 392 out of 750. And here we go. Here it is. So here's this classic sort of push that you will see around this sort of this ELO level. So I think I was about 980 ELO when I was playing this. Yeah, and you can see opening up with the classic sort of 4 axe riders or 5 axe riders with the help of the Explorer. Now the Explorer I think only gives a speed bonus. You can see that the aura is within this cav unit and he's gone to 7.76, but you can see the ones outside the aura are 6.75. So I think it only just gives speed bonus. I thought it gave attack and potentially like HP upgrades or something like that, but I don't think it does. I think it's just, unfortunately, look, we take 1 hit there, which is a shame. So we've lost 1 villager so far, and he does back off, but I've got a couple of pikes here. I don't know what they're going to do. Let me just have a look at how useful pikes are. So they're 120. Their hand attack, they're 3.5, so they're 5 times on cavalry. It's pretty crazy, and 3.5 times on shock infantry. That's interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. But 5 times on bonus damage against cavalry. So yeah, you're doing 40 damage. But they're not, they need to be in numbers. I've only got 2 here. My micro was a bit poor. I let one of the pikemen go, and you see that I lose him here, unfortunately. So you can see I've pretty much got my villagers sort of distributed like evenly. Well, it was evenly, now it's sort of changed. You can see I've got some musks out here, just fighting under the TC, which is a great bit here to do. And you can see here, this is definitely something that I recommend. I was going to do that. This is something that I recommend, is sort of if cavalry are going to go hand-to-hand combat with you, then it's probably a lot easier just to go hand-to-hand with them, because you do 13 hand damage to cavalry, and that's 3 times that. So you're doing 39 damage, where normally if you just do your normal attack, I can't even, why is it showing normal attack? I think the normal attack's like 24 or something like that. So you're better off just hand-to-hand combat, I would suggest, in this instance. I might be wrong. Anyway, we've got some more axe riders coming in. So I think there was a total of about 8 axe riders. And you can see that I actually get a shipment of 6 musks. So this is something that I also thought ahead as well. When I started to see them come in, I had the home city shipment available of 6 musks. And I definitely used that rather than going for like a wood shipment or a gold shipment or villager. Instead of focusing on my economy at this point, I needed to defend. You know, they were in my base. It's clearly a rush, followed up by another 4 axe riders, so a total of 8. I need to defend my base, and that's why I went for the 6. So just going hand-to-hand combat, really. I mean, I guess I could have put a couple of them in range. I don't know. You let me know, guys. Let me know if maybe you should just have half melee, so have sort of the front line in melee and the other in the volley mode. I don't really know what's better, to be honest. I'm not too sure. Yeah, because it's 23 damage, their range is. Their range attack is 23. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's best. You let me know. Anyway, so I'm just sort of focusing now a lot on food and gold. I think I've had 1 wood shipment. Yeah, 1 700 wood shipment. And I've got a ton of wood still left over. 255. I'm building a stables now. I've noticed here that he was building a war hut, currently in construction. So I quickly move my musks over there to see if I can grab it before it builds. Because remember, when a building is in construction, it will take quadruple siege damage. Just remember that. If you spot something being built, try and prioritize taking that down before it actually completes. So you can see that I delete that because I got a feeling that his axe riders are going to be coming down south. So there was no point in me having that building there. So I got rid of it. But I don't think he did come around. I think he just decided to attack me here. So I'm feeling pretty confident at this point. I've sort of dealt with his initial rush, and I'm just sort of meleeing his cav there, being quite effective, and I'm just sieging that forward war hut, sort of to deny him that constant rush. And the war hut's interesting because normally you will see a corral. So you'll see a corral, which is basically their stable. So seeing a war hut there was quite interesting because I normally see in my sort of like rank, I will see a lot of Lakota players just go full cav. So it was quite interesting. So those archers were doing me in there, picking me off, and also the cav there was snaring my musks, so they were moving very slowly, which is kind of annoying. And I decided to retreat my other 5 musks back at this point. So let's have a quick pause. We're 9 minutes in, coming up to 9. Let's turn the lock off. We've successfully dealt with the first rush, which is awesome. We're now putting down a stables to try and react to the archers, potentially get some raids maybe, try and do some economical damage to them. We're pretty much focusing on food and gold. 13 on the food, 5 on the gold. We've got a ton of wood from the wood shipments, so I would suggest to my past self to start building some more houses, get some more economy, use the houses as walls as well, and pretty much do that. Try and just improve my economy as much as possible. So let's just quickly have a look at the situation with Arvid here. So Arvid has only got 19 vils. We have 25, so more vils. He's got just pretty solely on food and gold. So it's pretty much pure cavalry production. Lakota don't have to build houses, so there's not a huge requirement for wood in Age 2, so they can basically keep spamming lots of units. However, if he wants to keep using these Citan bows, he needs to be getting some wood in, which is going to sort of conflict with what he needs to do. The C-10 bows, they do 30 damage to heavy infantry, so quite formidable, got to be careful. These guys actually have a range resist, so it's probably best actually going into hand-to-hand combat with the Axe Riders because they resist range. It's better to go into melee combat with them. But anyway, let's go back. Let's carry on. By the way, guys, let me know if you like this style of replay, if you like me sort of pausing it, just sort of explaining bits and bobs here and there. If you prefer it to be a little bit more streamlined, then by all means just let me know in the comments. You guys, as I say, I always mention this, but you're providing amazing support for the stuff that I'm putting out. My little Discord server is growing. We've nearly got 30 members now in the Discord server, which is awesome. And yeah, just never thought it would be possible to create like a community and stuff. So it's really awesome that it's happening. So much appreciated. Anyway, back to the game. Just getting musketeers basically. I think like having 5 or 6 people on gold is good if you just want to create musks, like a constant musk production from one barracks. And that's sort of what I'm doing here. I'm just getting that. I am getting the Huss now. Huss are really expensive, so the Hussars, they're sort of like the Axe Rider. What am I trying to say? The Axe Rider equivalent. He is going to pick off some more Veals here. So I think he's taken 2 of my villagers down so far in this whole game. May have been 3. So annoyingly, my musks don't have the mobility of an Axe Rider, so I'm just trying to keep the musks around the TC. I'm going to see if he's actually going to push in here with this. Annoyingly, he took that building down, which I should have just deleted because it gave him some XP. For some reason, that's kind of a weird thing there. He uses 3 of his bowmen. I think he stops, but luckily I get the Huss out at a perfect time here to take these bowmen out. But he started just to shoot down the stables very briefly. Not too sure why he did that. Huss are coming in. This is going to be a great little clear up here to take those 3 bowmen out. So I think he just knows that he's lost those units. And the Axe Riders sort of retreat a little bit. And we are safe once again. So this was like a real onslaught from Lakota, to be honest. You know, constant pressure. I think this was like the hardest Lakota player that I've played against so far. So really, really jam-packed, sort of a lot of action, a lot of combat all the time, which is really, really good. So I'm feeling a little bit aggressive now. I've got my 5 Huss. I've got a substantial amount of musks. I know that he's probably got about 8 Axe Riders at the moment. He's probably got a few infantry units. So I'm feeling a little confident. So what I want to do is push off the back of this whilst building a wall. Just making sure that he doesn't sort of try and raid me or whatever when I'm trying to push across the map. I got the 5 villager card from the TC there just to help once again with more economy. I've got 30 Veals, I've got 15 on food, 8 on gold. My Explorer has been revived, which is good. I could have got a trade post at this point, or maybe pushed out and got a trade post. I see this great little spot of villagers here, but annoyingly, this is kind of unfortunate here. So this was unfortunate. I wasn't paying attention on the map. So I split my army here, and I just sort of decided to go off to the left. And the reason I did is I saw a deer in the fog of war jump away. And he sort of like ran away quite significantly. And I know that's the sign of someone hunting. So I quickly got my Hussars over and found out that he was hunting. He's hunting quite far out from his base. So I decided to use that to my advantage. But annoyingly, I completely forget about the mass of units here. So what have we got here? We've got a couple of C-10 majority of these club warriors. Now these club warriors are pretty much good against cavalry. They're not good at all against musks. I don't know what kind of warrior they are. They're like oh, they are heavy infantry. Okay. So yeah, probably the musks will actually do more work to them. Yeah, the musks will definitely beat them in battle. But yeah, that's what I accidentally moved my musks into. So just pushing them back really, trying to mitigate, and I'm going to choose a point here to actually turn and try and fight. And you can see a lot of mistakes here, a lot of mistakes using attack move. You can see, I mean, what was going on there? You see, I had the units to attack move here, but the attack move bugged out. and the units just decided to walk straight past, and I just lost crucial time there. So I really recommend do not use attack move right now. Attack move is definitely bugged. Try not to use it. You can see like I'm just getting really annoyed. Like I lost 2 or 3 musks there. And annoyingly, sort of the clubman warriors are after my cav. And I'm going to lose a couple of cav here. So this is not a good engagement for me at all. This is definitely not a good trade. So he really hasn't lost many. But I'm trying to keep up with my macro here. So I'm making sure that I'm still creating musks at my base. And making sure that I've got the villagers on what I need them on. I realise here that my wall hasn't completed for some reason. I hate the way you have to build walls in this game. Like, the villagers are just weird with what they do. I see, this is kind of funny. I see a ton of axe riders over here, and I'm like, oh my god, get the wall up, get the wall up. So I just draft like another 3 villagers in here to quickly get the wall up, because I didn't want them to notice it. But the thing is, he's not taking into account the view that this outpost has. So this outpost really helped me in this game, providing that vision so that I can just see what he's doing here. I'm not too sure if he knew that I could see him. See, look. He actually didn't know, because it's in the fog of war, but he obviously doesn't know that I can actually see him moving across the map here. So I know what he's doing, and that really helps. Knowing where your opponent is, like especially if they're like a raiding civilization, is super crucial. So having those eyes on the map at all times is definitely a help. So I can see here, like, Axe Riders have a decent siege damage as well, so they will get walls down pretty quickly. And here they start to knock on my door, which is fantastic. I'm constantly getting musks out. You can see there, just above the minimap, I'm getting musks out. I actually built a second barracks there. I didn't mention that. I built a second barracks, and the reason I did is because I've now got 30 villagers, 20 on food and 10 on gold. It definitely means that I have enough to sustain a double barracks. So, to be honest, the only real way that you're going to know whether you need to build any more military buildings is if you're just floating a lot of resources, you know. So, I mean, I could have done this differently. I could have been in a position and I could have just said to myself, I don't want to create any more units and I want to age up. That could have been an option. Aging up could have been an option. But because I was being hounded so much, I needed to defend my base as best as possible. And I just thought to myself, this is going to be an age 2 fight. I'm going to take this fight in age 2. I'm not going to try and age up. The opponent's way too aggressive for that. I'm just going to have to see if I can beat him. So you can see here, we've just got him sieging my wall, trying to get it down. I think this is kind of crazy that I don't understand how all of these walls are connected. So he's shooting down this piece of wall. He's sieging this piece of wall, but it's also sieging all of this. I don't understand how that's possible. I thought it would just siege down a little bit, but looks like it's not. So this is where it's going to get a little messy. Here we go. Here we go. So I move the husk straight out of the way. I don't want those club warriors to touch them. And I actually get a couple of pikes out here to try and help with the amount of cav that there is. And I quickly get them over to try and help. Now, the error that he's done here is he's gone bow rider. That's his problem. So he's gone bow rider. And they're only good against hand cavalry and artillery. And they've only got a base range of 20. So I think him going bow rider was just not the best. I think he should have stuck with his axe riders and potential Setan bows or the club warriors. I think that's the composition that he should have maybe gone to. I think going bow rider wasn't the best here. I mean, he's going to be able to kite me, but my musks, I mean, their range is they've got quite a short range, so I think my musks will get shots off on them. As you can see, he got another shot. Okay, so get the villagers out. Make sure to get your villies out. His explorer's still dead, which is really bad for him. Like, the Lakota explorers are really crucial. So if you can kill their explorer, make sure that he stays dead for the whole game. it's pretty good benefit for you. So you can see here, because I've got this double barracks and I've got this economy, it's looking good. You know, I am floating a lot of resources, so, you know, potentially getting into Age 3 could be an option. But I want to sort of push off the back of this. I think pushing off the back of this is perfect. Definitely a good move, because I was quite confident about that fight, and now I'm more confident about the score. I spot my pikes here, spot a couple of people here hunting, and I'm like, yeah, I've got to take that. What I'm surprised about, what he could have done, is he could have just scouted around. Instead of attacking the gate, the wall there, and doing what he did, he could have used his axe riders just to scout around the outside of my base, just to see if there were any villagers. If he caught these villagers, 8 villagers, that would have been really significant for him. But he didn't. Anyway, pushing out, so the pike's just going to pick off a couple of those villies, which is a nice little pickup. I am expecting him to come at me with something. I spot another war hut that he's built. So I'm going straight out to it to siege it down. Pikes are really good. They've got really good siege damage pikes. And musks have pretty good siege damage as well. So this should go down relatively quickly. Cav coming in. I quickly double tap those pikes. Annoyingly, it doesn't work out amazingly. That was kind of a weird movement that they did, but I'm hoping that the musks here are going to do some damage. So we seem to be doing okay at the moment. So he's still going bow riders, which aren't trading the best. I mean, bow riders do have a high health pool. They've got like 280 health. But I don't think it's the best option here. Anyway, another 10 musks coming out. So just constant musks here. You can see my military production is not changing above my minimap. It's constant, constant, constant. Just providing more pressure. I think I backed off a little bit here. Yeah, it's just a little bit too much, I think. Another 5 musks come out, so it's looking really, really good now. Getting that production up. Score's looking good. 10,000 to 8,000. That's not bad. What I find amazing here is he doesn't spot my villagers hunting the deer right near this fight. I've got 3 villagers hunting some deer, and he didn't target them at all. So he was just constantly on the offensive. And another successful fight. I'm feeling really good now. I'm feeling good. I've got a lot of people on gold. Probably don't need that many people on gold. Maybe take a couple off. I had 5 people on wood here. I think just to keep up with some house production. Just get more villagers. I think that's the only reason. I can't really explain why I had 5 people on wood. I mean, was it necessary? Who knows? I'm getting a TC shipment now. Sorry, a home city shipment, and that is 6 longbows. Now, I only do this just to provide even more military power to do this push. I'm thinking to myself, he's probably not got, his economy isn't as good as mine. My score's looking pretty good, and I don't think he's going to be looking to get into fortress. So I need to make a move very shortly and see what happens. Let's just have a quick look at our opponent. So you can see he actually does have a lot of gold. So, but he is constant villager production still. He's at 29 vils. I'm at 35. So his economy's not bad. He just seems to be getting constant cav out, it seems. He's got a double war hut and triple war hut. Crazy. Triple war hut. Wow. That's nuts. I think he's got too many military buildings. I think you don't need 3 war huts and a stable. I don't know. Sounds a little bit too much to me. Anyway, we're waiting for those longbowmen to come along. I am getting a upgrade here, which is the Team Musketeer, which is going to give me some more HP for the musks. Unfortunately, I wanted to get 5 hus out, but I was only able to get 2 because of the resources I had, or I think I just forgot about it. But I wanted to use these guys just to try and raid. Because this is something that I'm not very good at the moment. I'm trying to learn to raid and to do like a multi-pronged attack and all that sort of stuff. I'm not really doing that right now. So, and I do spot something which is awesome. A little pickup there, 2 villagers. So, moving up my longbow. That's nice. He didn't actually contest me there at all. I thought he was going to... I'm surprised he didn't send some of his bow riders to take out my huss. Anyway, he does have some C10 bows, and I'm like, oh my god, I've done it again. I've sent my musks into the fray. They're getting shot from all angles. I use my longbows to take out the other bow units. And I try and get my cav round here to take the longbows out, but instead I just start attacking his Vils, which actually distracts him quite a bit, which is good. And I'm just getting another 10 musks, so it's just constant. The musks are constantly coming out here. So he's moved his villagers away, which is good. The longbowmen are actually clearing up the clubmen there. You can see the clubmen are taking down the huss, but my longbowmen here are doing some work, which is nice. Just sort of got, as I say, majority on food and gold. And just got a few on wood, just to keep that wood level high so I can just create houses as much as I can. I have seen that some British players like to just have a large amount of villagers on wood all the time so they can just keep constantly creating houses. But because of the situation I was in here, I didn't really have the opportunity to do that, I don't think. I needed to really defend my base, and then a counter offensive I think was needed. So anyway, another 10 musks coming out. Look, they just keep coming out, just keep flooding out. And I'm feeling pretty good at this point because I can't see much military coming to attack me here, and I can just see constant musks coming out of the barracks, which is always a good sign. So I am feeling pretty good. I've actually used both gold mines there, so I had to move outside of the base, which is quite risky, to mine further. All those villagers going out there, and just another 8 musks there coming out to aid. He is just chopping wood there, and I was thinking to myself, should we kill those villagers? But I don't know. I just wanted to take down the war hut because that's quite crucial. So feeling good at this point. I'm not too sure what he's going to have in his base. So I just sort of try and advance with the amount of musks I have. I've got 26 musks. That's quite a force. And I'm trying to find some more hunts for my villagers so we don't have to go to mills. And he's only got a couple of clubmen here, a couple of C10 bows. Just taking out a couple of villages as well, mining, and that's it. There it is. GG. Awesome game. So let's see if we just come off the fog of war there, and we have a look at the situation. Annoyingly, you can't really get rid of this playback thing, but you can see here that he sort of went 3 farms, which is kind of interesting. I'm not sure why he did, because he's got ox here that he could herd, and he's got ox down here that he could herd, and potentially a bunch of ox down here. I think he was a bit nervous because of the fact that he got raided. So it wasn't really a raid. I mean, it was like I had my huss here and I killed like maybe 3 or 4 of his villagers, and I think at that point he got a bit stressed out about it, and then just immediately went to the whole farm building here. But this must have cost him a lot of wood though, because farms are not cheap. I think they're 400 wood each. So he must have had like a wood shipment or just been getting a lot of wood. And I think that's probably what slowed him down. I think it was the building of the farms wasn't necessary. He could have still used the food here, the hunts. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. As always, let me know what I could have improved on. This was pretty much like a 980 ELO game. So it gives you a bit of perspective, gives you an idea of the sort of level of players around this sort of rank. I hope you guys enjoy this sort of replay analysis. I have got a couple more on my channel and other stuff too, so be sure to check that out. You can catch me streaming on Twitch at Widgie1, and have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video. Catch you guys later.